Hi, my name is Sam and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've recently made a video on my experience on my first gay cruise, which you can find over here, and you seem to like it a lot, so I thought I would make another video where I tell you what more. Well, I'm not entirely sure it's a fun fact. It's been a year now and I still can't quite tell if it is fun or not, so you tell me after I tell you the story. So I want to tell you this fact about the cruise that I forgot to mention in my first video, and then I want to use this topic to talk about body image in the gay world, because it is related to the cruise, and I'll tell you how in a minute. Obviously I'll be talking about the gay world because that's the world that I know. I don't know if this applies to straight people, specifically straight men, so any straight men watching this, do let me know in the comments if this applies to you and if you feel the same. Speaking of which, before we start, it would be amazing if you could like this video, subscribe to my channel down below, and also leave a comment about the topic of the video, but also a smiley face, any kind of comment, because it really helps my channel. And now let's start. So in the video that I've linked here, you will find all the details about my first gay cruise. It was amazing, I loved it, and I'm going back in 2 weeks. It's the 29th of June when I'm filming this. And what happens on that cruise is that on the last day, or the last night, they have comedians throughout, comedy shows throughout the 10 days, but on the last evening they have a comedian who mocks everything that's happened on the cruise. So during the week he goes around and takes pictures and videos of what is happening about, physically about the ship, or events and things that happen. And so this is a story that he told. I can't quite believe that it's true, but based on what I know, it is true. So there is a group chat that you can be part of for the people, the gay guys on the cruise. I knew about it, I think, but I wasn't part of it. And apparently what happened was that on our cruise we had several jacuzzis. There was a specific area that had 2 or 3 of them. Apparently a guy messaged on the group asking people if they'd seen the urn of the ashes of his mother. So what happened, again allegedly, is that this guy brought his mum's ashes on the cruise with him. I don't know why you would bring your mum's ashes on a gay cruise, but I assume she wanted to be scattered somewhere that we went. But it is a bit bizarre, but that's not the most bizarre part of the story. So apparently what happened was that not only did he bring his mum on the ship, but he also brought the urn to the solarium where the jacuzzis were, and the ashes went missing. So on the group he literally asked if anyone had seen the urn of the ashes, because he couldn't find it anymore. And again, I can't quite tell if it is fun or not. We all laughed, but it's insane. So why would you bring your mum on the cruise? But if you do, why would you bring her to the jacuzzi with the Aegis lever in the cabin? Also, people do a lot of drugs on that cruise, and our worst worry and fear is that people actually mistook the ashes for cocaine and they snorted it. So that could have happened. It's so absurd that we all thought it was a fake, it was just a joke. But again, the message was, the comedian showed us the message, so the message was sent. We don't know what happened after that. We don't know if the ashes were ever found, but this is what happened. So that's the sort of fun fact that I forgot to mention last time. Now, Why do I want to talk about gay body image? The reason for that is that I talk about this cruise a lot. It happened last year in 2023, and I'm a drag queen, and I talk about it in all of my shows. I liked it so much that I keep banging on about it. Everyone knows that I've been on a gay cruise and that I'm going on another one in 2 weeks. And the reaction that I got from a lot of people after my shows was that they were interested. They all told me, "Oh, I've always wanted to go. I've always been intrigued, but I've never been because I'm very conscious of my body." And that's why I want to address this situation. Nobody really commented on this in my previous video, but I just thought I would mention it. It's true that if you look at the website of the company that they used, which is Atlantis, it's an American gay cruising company, all the people that they have on their websites, all the men that they have on their website are all sculpted in marble. They're all Greek gods. It is absolutely true, but it's also misrepresentative. On the cruise, that is not what you will find. Of course, there are 3,000-4,000 gay men. You will find a lot of muscle Marys. You will find a lot of people that really do go to the gym. They look stunning, and I understand that if you don't look like that, you might feel a bit uncomfortable. But what I really want to stress is the fact that not everyone is like that. On that cruise, I saw all sorts of body types, all sorts of ages. There is a little bit of everything. And of course, usually muscly guys are attracted to muscly guys, so they will all gravitate towards each other. If you don't fall into that category, it is fairly unlikely that they will approach you. That is absolutely true. I can't deny that. But they like what they like, the same way you may like what you like. So you had all sorts of groups of the Muscle Marys, you had the Bears, you had the Twinks, you had all sorts of groups, and there was no judgment. That's what I loved about this cruise. Most people were naked all the time. I'm not fully naked, that was not allowed unless it was in the dark room. But yes, you could see all sorts of body types, all sorts of heights, but there was no judgment. Everyone was very friendly to each other, and you can find the people that you like. You can find your tribe, you can find people to socialise with, and your body type should not stop you from going. I find it really sad when I do my shows, and then a lot of people tell me that they've always been put off by the idea of going to a cruise where everyone looks like the pictures that the website has. And the last day of the cruise, before the comedian, so in the afternoon, there is a Q&A with the founder, the CEO of the cruise, which I think is a great idea. And you can ask him any question about the organisation of the cruise, what happens behind the scenes. It's really, really interesting, and I'll tell you a couple of fun things about that too. And so, yeah, no, let's do the body image first. And someone asked the CEO about the pictures of the men on the website, and they did say that they felt a bit uncomfortable when they first saw these pictures because they knew that they didn't fit into that category, so they thought this might not be a cruise for them. They thought that being a Greek god was a requirement. And he gave a very business-like reply, which I completely understand. He said that if I remember correctly, actually, yeah, do not fully quote me on this, but if I remember correctly, he said that in the past they did try to put a more varied selection of bodies on the website, but that didn't have the same positive effect on sales, because obviously most men are attracted to extremely beautiful, muscly guys. Not all of us, but most of us, and showing that kind of guy attracts more people and it attracts more sales. So I think they did do a test run, and they saw that in terms of sales it was more convenient for them to have more of those men on the website, and I completely understand it. I'm not here to judge it. I mean, they need to sell, so they don't care if it's only muscle Mary's booking or if it's a variety of body types. They need to sell, so I completely understand. Now, we'll go back to body image in a moment, but I want to mention a couple of things from that Q&A, because I went and I mentioned in my other video that obviously it's a big group of gay men and sex is involved on the cruise. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. That's why I liked it. You can make of it whatever you want. Not everyone was there for sex. Some people just went on excursions and woke up very early in the morning and went to bed very early in the evening. They just wanted to get the full experience of being treated like a king and, you know, going to different destinations. Some people were only there for the parties, some people were there just for the sex, some people were there for a bit of everything. So you don't have to do anything, you don't have to have sex. It's not in your face, which is what I also liked. But the solarium was turned into a dark room, and I want to make a video on dark rooms at some point. It's for those of you who are not familiar with the term, it's basically, if you go to a club, there are specific clubs in London and everywhere in the world that are designed for sex. So some of these clubs have a dance floor, and then they have a dark room where the lights are dim and people go to have anonymous fun and anonymous sex. Again, you don't have to go, it's there as an option. And obviously when you have 3,000 or 4,000 gays on the same ship, something like that will happen. Now, we do not have a specific room that was dedicated to being a dark room, because the ship is not for the gays. It's a ship that is used for all sorts of cruises, but the gays turned the solarium into a dark room. Now, the again not so funny thing was that the cruise was full of cleaners everywhere. Again, we were treated like kings. We had cleaners throughout the day, we had cleaners throughout the night. They were everywhere, and they did an amazing job. I mean, it was perfect, absolutely perfect. And what happened was that when we were in the dark room, we also had cleaners, not right there where the action was happening, but around us, because obviously they needed to make sure that everything was clean enough. They never came to clean while things were happening. But obviously when they saw that maybe an area cleared a little bit, they had to do their job. And it was very strange, I have to say, to be there and be doing those things while you had these people around you. They weren't actively watching, bless them, but they were there. And personally, well, actually not just me, but most people, we felt uncomfortable for ourselves, but also we felt terrible for these people who were there, bless them. Again, not actively watching, but obviously they could see what was happening. And during the Q&A, one guy asked the CEO if the staff get any kind of warning or training on how to mentally deal with the peculiarity of what goes on a gay cruise. And the question itself was very funny, obviously, but the reply was even more shocking, because the guy said that if we think that as gays we are dirty and deviant, apparently we are nothing compared to the swingers cruises. So apparently there are cruises for swingers, straight swingers I assume, and based on what the CEO said, that's where the extreme fun happens. So he said that the staff know what they're getting themselves into before getting on the ship, and they are warned beforehand that it is a gay cruise, in our case, and they can say no, I suppose. I don't know if they can say yes but then ask to be put in specific areas at specific times where and when nothing happens. I don't know that, but anyway, they all know what's happening, and don't get me wrong, so the staff never said anything, they never made us feel uncomfortable. Again, they never stared at what was happening, so they were very, very, very professional. We just felt sorry for them, because obviously it's not what everyone wants to be watching every single night. But yes, so the reply to the question was the real treat, because apparently we're not as bad as we're made to think. So yes, the staff, they know what's happening, they understand it's part of the game, so they are okay with it, obviously. And from what we could tell, most of the staff were straight women and straight men. So again, we did feel a bit weird about exposing them to such brutal truths. But they got over it, apparently. So now back to body image. I think it's really important to talk about it, because again, I saw a lot of things on the cruise, and based on the comments from the customers that come to my shows, it doesn't, again, if that's a thing that is stopping you from going on a gay cruise, at least Atlantis, I don't know, La Demance, which is the other gay cruise company, that should not be a problem, because again, you will see all sorts of bodies, all sorts of people, all sorts of personalities, and there will be so many people there that you won't even have the time to meet them all, and you will definitely find someone that you fancy, someone that fancies you. So please do not worry about that. In the darkroom and generally on the ship, I saw a lot of people that maybe I didn't fancy, but that's also my problem, because unfortunately I don't fancy many people, but I saw a lot of people that I personally would not have done anything with, being very, 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 very busy with other people. So again, actually, if you are a bit uncomfortable or uncertain about your body, this could probably help you, because you will be thrust into this world where, again, you don't have to be naked if you don't want to, but there is an element to it, because obviously it's summer, it's hot, so you can take your top off if you want to. It's a great environment to do that freely in, and then see what happens. And yes, maybe not all the men will come to you, but you will also have the chance to see that there are other people that look like you, that like your body type. So maybe it could be a good idea to go into it with the objective to sort of get over a mental hang-up that you may have. Now, and I can tell you, luckily I have a good body, and I have to stop saying luckily, because I hate working out, and I will make a video on that. But it's not luck. I work on my body because I'm vain, but I don't do it for the boys. I do it for me. Also, I'm a drag queen and I wear very tight clothes, very few clothes, and I do like to look a certain way. But again, it's not because I want to attract the boys. I just want to feel comfortable with myself. There are a lot of people, a lot of gays that go to the gym regularly, and then when they find a boyfriend, they stop because the gym has served its purpose, because obviously they've attracted someone that, well, I've never really been in a relationship, so I don't know if that applies to me, but I doubt it, because I don't go to the gym because I hate it. I work out at home, but I don't do it to please others. I do it to please myself. So I don't think I would stop working out if I ever found anyone. I wish I could, because I absolutely detest it, but I'm too vain. But I have to say that weirdly, people that have a more defined and toned body, like myself, it doesn't always mean that we get more attention. Also, I am very, very small and very petite, and I'm very, well, yeah, I mean, yes, I'm very small, and not everyone likes that body type. Yes, I am toned, I am defined, I have a bit of a six-pack, but, for example, big muscle guys, they wouldn't necessarily come to me, because although I do have some kind of the same body structure, I'm not big, because I do not want to work out enough to be big, and those big guys tend to like big guys as well, so I don't get their attention, for example. And then if you look a certain way, I mean, I've heard all sorts of things and all sorts of reasons as to why people don't approach me, because believe it or not, I don't really get approached much, and it's because if you have a certain body, people find you intimidating. So I've heard that I look intimidating, I look like I have a boyfriend, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that means. And also, since when has that ever stopped other gay guys from approaching someone else? So, you know, the fact that you have a body that fits into the ideal of beauty standards doesn't necessarily mean that you will have more attention for one reason or another. And I really want to stress this. I understand that there is a lot of pressure to look a certain way, but I also, at the same time, don't believe in this social pressure that we all blame, because you can very easily say no and don't do that. Again, I personally don't work out because of what I see on Instagram, because of what I see on Facebook, because I don't use social media, even though I am a YouTuber. So again, I don't try to look like that specific actor because that's what I think everyone should look like. No. I want to look the way that makes me feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable being a bit more on the plump side, it's absolutely fine, and I envy people that are okay with that, because that means that they can eat a bit more, they can eat whatever they want, which is what I would like to do. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I stopped. I used to bite my nails, that was my only vice, and I stopped that as well. So I don't have vices, and I don't say this to brag, because I wish I could have one vice, which would be food would be my vice, but I've stopped having that as a vice as well, because I try to eat a certain amount of calories and all that, just because I want a certain body. And so yes, that's my view, that's what I want for myself, but not everyone has to want that, and if you don't have it, and if you are okay with it. That's what I think is most important. If you're okay with being more on the chubby side, it's absolutely fine. If you're not okay with it and you don't like it for whatever reason, then maybe yes, I think there is a lot that we actively can do to make things change if we don't like them. But if you do like them, I don't think there is anything wrong. And again, I mean, I live in London, so not only do I see a lot of nationalities and a lot of races and all that, I see a lot of body types. I work in venues, I work in gay pubs and clubs as a drag queen. I've seen it all. And even if you go to dark rooms here in England or wherever, you see all sorts of body types, and they're all having fun. So yes, a specific body type might limit the amount of people that will be attracted to you. That is a possibility, and you must know that. But chances are also that if you have a specific body type, you might be attracted to the same body type. So you can gravitate towards people that feel the same. They live life the same way as you do. So again, please do not let this be a problem when it comes to cruises or when it comes to other places in general. Even in London, like normal clubs, not even sex clubs, just go. There are venues and parties that promote a certain body type. Again, in the flyers and in all the advertising, they put obviously Greek gods sculpted in marble on the flyer, because that attracts people. Let's be honest. But that doesn't mean that you have to be that. There is it's not a venue, it's the name of a night. It's a night called Roast here in London, which is held in a venue that has 3 dance floors, but one room has pop music, which is the one that I go to. Then you have a room with techno and one with electro. I never go to those because I only like pop. I'm a cheap gay. And then there is also a dark room, and this event is famous for the variety of music and also for the dark room. And the beauty of this place is that, first of all, you don't have to go to the dark room if you don't want to, so sex doesn't have to be part of the night. And also, it's so inclusive because you have all these kinds of music, and they all attract different people, different personalities, and different body types as well. Most people are almost fully naked. Full nudity, I don't think, is allowed on the dance floors. But then obviously if you go to the dark room, it's a different ball game. But most people come in their speedos or in their harnesses, and all of anything goes basically. And yes, you would naturally assume that you have only the muscle guys showing off, but oh no, you have again all sorts of body types, and even the bigger bodies are almost fully naked, and there is no judgment. It's beautiful to see, because again, you're allowed to be whoever you want and to look the way you want. And of course, if you approach someone, they might not like you and they might turn you down the same way they might turn me down for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be your body type, it can be your personality, your hair colour. It doesn't have to be anything related to from here down. So yes, I just thought I would reassure a few people about the fact that it's not as shallow as a gay cruise is. Let's face it, it's not shallow in that sense, because you can find whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, and there are so many guys that you will feel like you belong to a specific tribe and a specific group, and you will find people that will appreciate your body, whatever type that is. And on that note, I will let you go, and I will see you soon. And do let me know, well, before I go, do let me know if the same applies to straight men in the straight world. I don't know what straight men think they have to do in order to appeal to women. I don't know if there is so much pressure, as much pressure on straight men as there is on gay men. So do let me know if you're a straight man, or if you know any straight men. Let me know how you feel as a straight man, or how your straight friends feel about it. And on that note, I will let you go, and I'll see you soon.